Hello and welcome to Jeannie's World. Well, back in May, um, I made a mistake. And some people would think that it's not really a big mistake and maybe it doesn't have any consequences, whatever. But you always are to show your gratitude. And I wasn't feeling all that well. And we were at the Wellness Center and we were playing bingo. And the man sitting across from us, the only other person who spoke English in the Wellness Center. So it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. But he was very loud, very obnoxious, and uh, somebody I wouldn't know. I wouldn't hang around with if I had a choice. But not that I did not appreciate his company, because I did. It was nice. But the mistake was that he won the bingo game and he gave me a gift of the bingo prize. And when he handed it to me, instead of saying thank you, I I went into a thought process. What am I going to do with this? It was one of those cheap little Dollar Tree houses that didn't even have good painting on it. The whole process, what am I going to do with this? Why do I want this? It, and then when I did say thank you, he wasn't listening and I didn't repeat it. And then he got all upset because I didn't say thank you immediately. So, and he started making this big deal and used the F word on me and all of this stuff. So, how do you handle this situation? I gave it back to him, put my stuff together, and I left the Wellness Center. They asked me why I left. I told them, and I let it go. No formal complaint, no nothing. Because the argument or the disrespect was my fault, because I failed to show gratitude in a reasonable time. Well, you would think that that's over, it's finished. There is no more of this story. It's gone forever. But he went into the doctor's office and he complained on me, and the doctor office called me and asked me, and I told the tale. He told his tale. Of course, they didn't match, but I told my truth. He told his truth. He got kicked out of the doctor's office and fired from his physician. And nothing happened to me. And then, I guess about 3 weeks ago, we're at the Wellness Center, and the head of the wellness of Prime Life doctor's office came in and said that Miles was no longer welcome because he doesn't have a doctor there. Well, kind of hurt my feelings because I rely on Miles too much. Really too much. Because I don't see with my beautiful eyes everything that I see, but my eyes are improving, so I'm well with that. And then since May, I've had a severe episode with my leg. Now, this leg has been going on for months and months and months. I've told the doctor about it, but it's not important. So I have a hard time getting in and out of the car, and I have a hard time stepping up on the curb, since I can fix that. I can carry a cane. I can use a walker. I don't need a walker, but maybe a cane would help to help me get that extra step. And then I don't have to rely on Miles and stand at the corner when he forgets me. Um, there's a lot of things I could change about myself. So I'm taking full responsibility for all the dumb things that I do. But anyway, Miles' feelings was very hurt when he was kicked out of the wellness center, being my fault for not saying thank you. That this guy came in and caused all kinds of trouble. I don't know the exact amount of trouble that he caused for the doctor's office, but it was so major the corporate office came down and said, hey, if you don't belong here, get out. And I can respect that, but that put me between a rock and a hard place. Now, I can continue to go to the wellness center, but I would definitely be alone because I don't speak Spanish. So I can deal with that because they do speak English and they do like me. And so there's a lot of positive that. But if I went to the wellness center without Miles, it would crush him because Miles is a child. I know he's 62 years old, but he's been protected all his life. And he doesn't know how to handle all these situations. So there's no blame going to Miles because he doesn't know how to cope. But we always do things together. We're friends without benefits, but we're always like this together. And then I think there's a little jealousy going on with him with my daughter because my daughter's living with me and he's always making remarks that I don't like. And he doesn't know any better, so you should overlook them. I find it hard sometimes. But I find a division coming between us. And is it based on my non gratitude? I don't know. I always try to say thank you and please. That day I didn't. All I could think is, what am I going to do with this piece of trash? And then another thing is when somebody gives me a gift, I don't throw it away. I keep it until it breaks or dies of old age, or regift it to someone who's deserving of it, not just give it away because I don't like it. Once again, my mind is full. You know, but yesterday when I went to the doctor, my daughter says, I want to complain about Miles being kicked out of the wellness center. So she opened a whole bag of worms. I used to take cookies to the wellness center. Julie asked me not to because she's trying to do health food. So I quit. I complied. I gave everybody gifts in the holidays or the special days, not just because. And I found out I was in trouble for giving gifts. They weren't in trouble for accepting them, and they didn't give them back. But it's my fault that I gave a gift. Cookies, I definitely understand. I'm kind of like, I may be needy, but I don't take something for nothing. If I have something to offer you and you want to give me something, thank you. If I have something I can give back, then I give it back. Maybe not of equal value, maybe greater, maybe lesser, or maybe just a simple thank you. I'm independent, but there in the past, I don't know, I've kind of gotten dependent on Miles, too dependent, and I need to let loose. I don't need to break up the friendship, but I need to quit being so dependent on him. If I can't get my shoes on, go get another pair of shoes I can wear. If I can't get up the step, use a cane. If I'm too tired to cook supper, Roman noodles. He comes over all the time to eat. I'm not obligated to feed him, but I do. I remember when we first met, I said, "Why do you always come to my house?" He said, "Because you have food." Well, I fixed that. I showed him the food pantries. Now he has plenty of food. He's gaining weight. And then I watched his behavior and saw where he was a little bit slow in certain things. Very smart man, but some things he doesn't get. And it's impossible that he would hold a job with an employer because he doesn't listen. Um, Maybe that was part of his. He was always a special ed student, and maybe that's part of it because he was deprived of oxygen when he was little when he was born. So that's something I can't hold against him either. So I'm not judging him. By no means am I judging him. So what I did, I got him introduced to the food pantries. And then after that, because I've noticed this slowness in him and I noticed that he can't do better than what he's doing. I'm sure he could with the right guidance, but he doesn't have that guidance. Um, I had him sign up for Social Security. So with the Social Security, now he's getting his teeth fixed. He still hasn't been approved for Social Security, but DeLand offers things for people. So I found him the dental fix his teeth because that man had halitosis that would knock you out of a 100-foot tree. So that's gone. And then I got him food stamps and I got him medical care. And I don't know what I'm not patting myself on the shoulder. And I forgot where this was going because I was so busy thinking about the things he had. Miles is important to me, but I feel like now that we're drifting away because I am too demanding. He doesn't listen. Like today, we got in a fight. I had done some research on what I think is wrong with my legs because doctors have no idea. And so I got me some milk thistle. So I linked that up to what I thought was wrong with me. And there's no comparison, even though the research I did before said use milk thistle. And so I said, I was going to tell him what I thought about what I had just learned. And this is not the first time, it's every time. I said the milk thistle. And then he came in with all this stuff. You bought it, you better take it. And I'm going, that has nothing to do with what I was going to say. Why don't you listen to me? And then I have all this frustration because I said, just listen. He doesn't have to always be right. He doesn't always have to have the last word. He doesn't always have to prove that he's intelligent. I know he's intelligent. He just doesn't listen. And then I get aggravated with him because he says the same thing 3 or 4 times. And he's so full of negativity. I said, Miles, you have to think right. What you put into the universe is what you're going to get out of it. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I've been so wrong. Now it's time for me to correct it. And I need to correct it for my own well being. Now, I'm not going to push Miles aside, but I need to be kinder and I need to show more gratitude for the things that he does for me. He probably does more for me than I do for him, but I need to be doing more for me and not relying on him so much. I want to get in my car and I want to drive away. And since my perspective's off, I need to work on that. But I know when I get into the car, I can see the cars coming, I can see the red lights, and that's more than I could see before. When my sugar's wrong, I'm blurry, so I need to keep my sugar stable. So there's a lot of things that I have to change about me. And when I want to get in my car, I want to drive to the beach. Miles never has time to go to the beach. I just want to be independent again. And I was driving my car, but then if I want to lift my leg, my right leg, I have to put my hand under my knee to pick up my leg. And then since I had that episode on May the 2nd, it's been harder for me to pick up my leg. So when I I drove, I think a couple of weeks ago, and I found that I had difficulty getting my foot to the brake. I went, nope, you can't drive. So I've been exercising my knee a lot. And to get the inflammation out of my leg, I have been using a lot of castor oil. I didn't put any castor oil on my leg, and I didn't put any Lanacane on my leg last night. And my pain level is about 2. But my stress level is up to here. And my stress level is because I did not say thank you. So with all my ranting and raving and stuff like this, I think the moral of my story is always say thank you. Even if you don't have the gratitude really and truly in your heart, someone gives you a gift, you accept it with love, and you say thank you because that is so important to the other person. And I think I got a lot of karma for not saying thank you. And God bless. See you next time.